everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm admitting everyone. Hey, Mary Beth.
Hey,
Hello, Karen. Hello, Jen. Hello, my bi-monthly romper room welcome. Hello, Stacy Schneider and Stacy Vitelli and Donna Lee. Hello, everyone. Oh, we're gonna wait a few more minutes. Karen, how are you? You're hiding.
It's like the sun behind me with that one light.
That's Jen. Uh, Hi. I got your little you'll hurt message.
Hi, Mary Beth. Haven't seen her in a while. We're not on the same board together anymore.
I know, I'm so sorry. How are you doing?
We're doing good. We're working a lot of kinks out and we're grooving together. Our teacher
Awesome.
show is next week. Our opening up at Saratoga.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
you should come. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I can, I will.
Yeah. It really, she's amazing. Miss Sweet is amazing. So many teacher shows. Actually, I looked online and I've seen so many of the regencies are having shows with their teachers and things like that. That's great. It's always good to get yourself out there, right? Make
Yeah,
some work, put it on a wall, feel like an artist, not just an art teacher. All those good things, definitely.
it just feels like everything's happening all at once right now.
It does. I said that to myself. I'm like, who planned the timing? And I
Yeah.
did. Whoops. We should have thought that not everything needs to be in March on the
Well,
6th.
everything is going nuts with trips now that the weather's
Mhm.
changing. All the arts festivals are piling up one on top of another.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. That is not untrue. So nice to see you, Roberta.
You too.
Bethany, the video when I post it this weekend, I always post the videos on our YouTube channel, the Nikata UFT YouTube channel. Everything I didn't realize when I looked on there last week, we have 72 videos from 5 years
Whoa,
worth of doing this, which is amazing.
that's
That is
insane.
Oh, I have something exciting.
Oh,
I Hi Donna, newbie. You have no video but waving hello. Okay, hi. Um, I was contacted by a woman, an art teacher in South Africa, who
oh,
wanted to attend this session. And she was checking with me for the time difference, and she said she's going to be on her lunch break and got permission to be
oh,
with us. So how cool is that?
where
wow.
is she? Are you there now?
What?
Is she now here?
I don't think Mary. Is it Mary?
There is a Mary.
Oh, I can't remember her name. I don't
What
think it's Mary. But in South Africa, it's our first guest from South Africa. The furthest we had before was Australia, which was incredible.
Not me. Mary says it's not this Mary.
Not you, Mary. Okay.
Not this Mary. It
But
must
we're
be.
still happy to see you, Mary.
So this is a worldwide organization.
World Wide
Clearly,
Web.
I
World
am
Wide Web.
I am worldwide.
Art is a universal language.
That it is.
Mm-hmm. The Mary is from Buffalo Public
Buffalo.
Schools.
Okay, so that's close to you guys. Well,
Not
closer to
that close to
you.
another country, though. We could go to Canada,
No.
I guess.
Ah, and they're still coming in, so I'm going to give it another minute or
Great.
two.
Well, I am thrilled that you deem my lesson worthy of spending an hour with me on Thursday. I'm excited.
An
Yay.
hour and a half. Let's not cut it
Woo!
short. Laura,
Hour and
haven't
a
seen
half.
you
Sorry.
in like a year. How are you? You're on mute, hun. Hi. How are you?
We don't hear you yet.
Uh-oh, we can't hear you.
You can read her lips.
You're not on mute, but we can't hear you.
Translate what she's saying.
No.
Oh,
Maybe raise your volume.
it might be like the mute button on the screen.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I'm so happy to see your face, and I hope all is well, and I'm glad you joined us tonight.
Mhm.
Okay, we have 18 folks in the house. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give my opening spiel, and then I will man the messages and the room after I hand it over to Cindy.
Cool.
Okay. I just want to say one bit of business information to you guys. We are going to be posting, as usual, the CTLE stuff, but it is now an official attendance form, which has the columns for all the CTLE information. So you have to fill out the form, and if it is not filled out at the end of this meeting, we will not be able to give CTLE credit. So you guys have to attend live and stick it out till the end. Make sure you fill out the form, because after that, after the actual taping, we will no longer be giving out the CTLE credit.
Okay.
We've been getting a lot of mails after the fact. Hi, Mario. I know you. A lot of emails weeks after the fact, and you know, if you're not here with us live, it has to be done live. Otherwise, we cannot grant the credit. So, oh, more people. Yay, Curtis is here. Okay. So having said that bit of business, we are going to go right ahead, and I will remind everybody, or Mary Beth will make an announcement when we are posting the form. And so are we filling that out for hours also? Yes, it's for hours, for CTLE, for hours, and you get, I believe, Mary Beth, you get a certificate also for people out of New York who need documentation, right?
Everyone that signs the sheet tonight will get an email of a certificate for tonight's attendance, and it will have your hours on there.
Perfect. So we need everybody to fill it out for attendance and the CTLE credit.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to officially start. So, welcome everybody to the Thursday Night Art Teachers Art Club. So happy to see all the faces, and some I haven't seen in a long time, and some that are new. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. Tonight we have a friend and colleague of mine, Cindy DiDonna, who is going to be sharing her lesson for Chuck Close style self-portrait or portraits, which I love and have always wanted to have on my club videos. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you, Cindy. I'm going to spotlight you.
Okay. Ooh,
You can say hi, and
took up
then
way more screen than I wanted.
don't turn yourself upside down before you
I
know,
know. All right. Bear with
before you
me.
introduce yourself and all that stuff. So,
Bear with me. I just got the camera that I dug out from COVID that I had to use. And now I'm like, whoa, I forgot I had to turn things around. My name is Cindy DiDonna-Nethaway. I work at Troy High School. I'm also the curriculum leader as well for the art department. I currently teach two studio arts, a Hudson Valley 2D course, and a creative crafts half year, and a fashion and illustration, textiles and fashion illustration. All those words work together. So this lesson, I cannot take 100% credit. I cannot, because my student teacher from Russell Sage, Kit Bishop, used it just recently. I asked her permission and she said, yes, I could use it. I also have a project I normally do would be my QR code self-portrait, which is similar in nature with the grid, and I will explain that to you. But I cannot take full credit at all for this, but I can take partial credit that I did work with her on it. I brought a lot of the pre-worksheets that you can see that led to the assignment. And I have a few examples, not a lot. You know, I know that you guys are all art teachers and you get the gist. I brought a picture of myself in case I forgot what I look like. So I'm gonna draw old-fashioned lines on this, but to be honest, my student teacher who was more savvy than me took the pictures and gridded them for the children, which she was very kind. I would make them grid because I'm mean, but that's okay. So you get options, and I know Stephanie also was able to do that. Steph was able to grid hers tonight, so she'll prime in and tell you the process. Any
Let me
questions?
know when you want me to do the PowerPoint or the PDF.
Yes, absolutely. Any questions about me in general before we move on to the assignment? Would be my first question. Anything? If you don't know where Troy is, near Albany, in case you're like, where is that? It's in Albany. Been teaching 25 years too. Might want to add that in there. At Sagamoreon, on Regent 6, co-chair this year. We used to be the alt-bot with Miss Deb, which is awesome. And NYSADA. Love NYSADA. And I can't say yours properly. The New York City branch.
Oh, NYCADA.
NYCADA.
So
NYCADA.
NYCADA is New York City Art Teachers Association. NYSADA is New York State, and New York City falls under New York State. So yeah, we're both on
Sounds
the
like
board of NYSADA, and I'm also on the board of NYCADA.
it sounds like the NEA or the ENLELLESL situation to me. Right? A lot of letters. But either way, so how about do you want to switch to the PowerPoint or you want to show pictures first? What do you want to do?
Let me share the PowerPoint
Okay.
and we can go through that
Okay, let's
together.
do that first.
Okay.
Again, I'm not this was the PowerPoint that my student teacher, Kit, made. Chuck Close portraits. So she decided to do self-portrait, which is perfect.
Oh, should I?
And here she goes. You can roll up if you
Okay.
want. She talked about the history of him, and she also focused that later in his life, he was disabled in the sense and he wasn't able to paint like we normally could, and he was painting from his wheelchair, correct?
Yes.
So she showed this image here. We talked about grids and boxes. And if you look in each one of the boxes, and this is what she spoke about, how each box could have a different shape or thing happening in it, and which kind of allows the kids to really practice doing patterns and using their, I would say, fine motor skills and their detail work. So where you kind of color something in really fast, this kind of slows them down, breaks it into a box, breaks it into like practicing their color palettes. You could make it have to be realistic. You could make it have to be not realistic. You know, there's so many options on this assignment of how you may want to make it work, right? So I'm going to give you just tons of ideas, and I want you to take it home to yourself, to your students that fit you. So here's another example. As you can tell, the whole looks like a picture, but if you broke down each box individually, it would look like its own little abstract art, which is what's amazing. It's kind of like those the photomorph.
When you squint, it looks like a photo, which is
Yeah,
crazy. That's
it
what's crazy
does.
to me.
And the size, they don't know the size of them right now, but they will know when we get to the end. So this is the PowerPoint that she gave me. And as you can tell, if you get too close, it doesn't make much sense. So then she had this picture of him in the wheelchair at the very end, showing that he had to have his screens. He had to have it tilted and moved so that he could work with it. I do like the fact that when you work in the grid, okay, first of all, you know kids are very bad at drawing lightly with their grid. Doing it this way, you don't have to race the grid. You leave it, right? And it just takes away that whole pressure of they don't draw lightly. So she shows this last picture here. And that's it for that.
I will stop sharing.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is change my camera. So bear with me if I'm upside down for just a moment. I promise, come back to you. Hold on. So we're just gonna get ourselves up. So I have some worksheets that I'm gonna show you. Turn ourselves around and upside down. Woo, did you get dizzy, everybody? I'll be not too. All right. Oops. There we go. All right. So the worksheet she gave out ahead of time, unfortunately, you can't see me and the work at the same time, so I think you're going to choose the work. So she started with this grid of a pizza. Let me just get it back a little further. There we go. Life is good.
Perfect.
So here is a pizza grid. She had the grid all made out for them. She used the messy art teachers, obviously, was what she used. But they did this. This was my example I was just playing with. It's not complete, but you can tell it's just a gridded practice assignment. I like to make sure the grids assignment has something that's enlarging. I don't want it to be like inch to inch, half an inch. I want them to have to practice the actual increasing, because the point of this project with their picture, it's not going to be this small, it's going to be large, right? Does that make sense on that?
Yep.
So I had done this in case that our camera didn't work, but as you know, he also gridded his a lot. So when it's empty with nothing in it, it looked like this. And then you can talk to the kids about, here's one. My reverse for you guys too.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
Are you sure?
Yep.
All right. And that says A, B. Am I flipped?
No.
Then she also showed this one, facial proportions. She gave them this worksheet, has all the stuff on the side. I honestly, to be honest, when I do it, I guess I'm a little old school. I usually take a magazine, I cut the face in half, I give one kid one half of the magazine, I give one of the kids the other half of the magazine, I tape it down, they have to draw the other half. Does that make sense? But I mean, you could do a worksheet. We talk about the half and half, and then half and half, and all the different measurements. And again, I'm talking to art teachers, so you know what I'm talking about. Take your fingers, put it up to your face. Oh, look at my face. My face is halfway to my eyes, and my eyes go here, right? Halfway is my nose. Thank God for that big Italian nose. Halfway down there. We talk about how that the pencil, if you line your pencil up with your eye, it's going to get to the corner of your mouth, right? And then we also talk about one and, all the other halfway marks on our face, right? Because kids will think, arbitrarily that their eyes are actually on their forehead, which I don't know why they think their eyes are on their forehead, but they do. So it's
Yep.
really good to cover that. And I always have them physically do it to their own heads. I'm like, put your hands on the top of your head. Now put your fingers to your eyes. Now move it. Dun, dun. And they go, oh my God. I'm like, right, you see that magic? I also talk about eye spacing, that there's an eye between the eye. Your eye on your eye, not, I don't put somebody else's eye on somebody else's picture. That would be a different measurement, right? And then she handed out this worksheet. This is a very fancy worksheet that she used, right? I have to be honest. When I do this project with my kids, I give them a folder full of different eyes, and I say, draw 8 eyes, draw 8 lips, draw 8 noses, draw 8 ears, and I just have them do 8 pages. I don't have such a fancy worksheet when I work with my kids, but this is something you could do as well, having the pre-grid. I can ask her if I can share this out with you if you want. I did not ask her about these parts, but I could. Any questions on prepping? Pretty sure you all got this down, and you have your way that works well for you. Right?
Those are great. Cindy, if she's willing to share it,
Yes.
you can email it to me, and then if anyone wants it, you can just email me and I'll send them off to you.
Okay. Yeah, let me text her later, because I did say,
Yeah,
can I?
later. Yeah, yep.
So the question mark is, we all can print only at an 8.5 by 11 paper. So what I have done, and what I asked her to do as well, she went on to anyway your attendance is. We all have attendances, right? She went on to the attendance, and she pulled all the kids' images down. She gave them like a week before that to send in their own image. And then if they didn't send an image, we handed them their attendance image. So maybe if they only have the 3rd grade picture still in the computer, guess what they got? A 3rd grade picture. That's how that rolls. She pre-gridded hers. She had it all nice and gridded so the kids didn't have to do it. If I was teaching this lesson my way, I would say, okay, guys, normally, I might use a smaller paper today because it's not going to fit onto the screen. But in theory, I'm using this big, you see it, guys. This is my 12 inch by 18-inch paper here. So I would go from an 8.5 by 11-ish paper to a 12 by 18, right? But for the purpose of my small camera, I'm going to have to edit mine. So if you're doing this at home and you want to do it and you have a large paper, we're going to have to do our math. So if this is 12 inches across and I look at my image, if you can get a nice 6-inch section, so I have 6-inch section right here. And I usually would cut the page for the kids, just like cut it down so they can't even like see what we're talking about. What I'm going to do is make mine 1/2 inch. So 1, 2, right? So 1, 2, wait, 1, 1.5, 1. And I would do 1/2 inch all the way across to a solid thing. So what am I going to get? I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? So I know that the top of this paper, I'm going to do a 1-inch grid. Does that make sense? Everyone good? All right. See, I can go fast with you guys because you are very smart people and can do this stuff. Now, normally this picture would be way longer. And for some reason, when it printed today, it is not. So imagine I'm going down to 9, okay? Now, I'm not 9 on this picture because I don't have to be. So it's 1 to 9, and I do 1/2 inches again. And I'm going to end up with 18, right? Whoops, that's wrong. 18 marks. The 18 marks, these 1/2 inch. So choices here are you can do the same thing with the numbers on the side, but if your children are going to get confused and you want to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you can do that as well. I feel confident in myself tonight that I can do a grid with numbers. And again, I apologize. Normally all this bottom would be useful, right? Stop me if I'm going too fast, not clear, any of the above. Okay, good.
Good, we're good.
All right. So in theory, the image might be way down here, but you see that the bulk of the picture is here, right? So if my paper here is 18 inches and you can't see all that, but you know me, I'm not telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. You get all the way down here. I'm going to do 1-inch grid. But for today's purposes, I'm probably going to cut this paper down to 14 so that I can actually be on the page with you. But let me show you what their pictures look like because that would help. All right. All names have been removed for purposes so nobody knows who they are. But so it's not going to fit well on my camera, so I could stand up and show you if you would like. Is that better? I mean, hold on. We're going to just do a quick, ooh, don't get sick, anybody. Whoa. Well, I don't know how else to show it to you.
That looks great.
So this is one of my students. She wanted to keep her skin color, that's fine. And she did each box. So if you get close, we can see that they can really kind of just do some mindful drawing patterns, not stress so much about what's happening. So once they get into the flow, they just kind of go. Is this helping everyone, I hope? All right, I got one more I brought for you today. So the lighting's a little bright, but so if we get back in, it's not super crazy, maybe just going different directions, but I do like the choice of colors that she used. And notice nobody had to erase lines, which is, I think, almost the best thing, right? Because they inadvertently always draw too dark. These two decided to only use color pencil. We allowed them to use color pencil or to use oil pastels. Oil pastels, obviously, you know what they're like. So I don't know if anyone wants to look at that for a minute, screenshot, whatever your heart contends. There you go. Any questions? As you can tell, they look very much like they were pictures right out of their, you know how they do things, right? Right out of their, okay, don't get dizzy, guys. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna turn you around. I'll cover it so you're not like all like, whoa. Okay, down. All right, I'm gonna cut my paper to be just a tad smaller. So maybe can we stop for a minute, let everybody situate their papers or start drawing lines, or how do you want to do it?
Just a quick question,
Sure.
when you set up or gave them the parameters of the project,
Yes.
they're your samples that you showed us don't have the blobs, for lack of a better term, that the Chuck Close portraits do within each box, right?
Yes, some of the kids didn't get completely what we were doing. Again, you have to remember my student teacher taught this.
Right?
So she wanted a little more choice involved in hers.
So if you wanted to, okay, so there the options are, make patterns or whatever outside and leave the inside normal, or I mean, there's a million different ways we could do
Well,
this, right?
that's the thing about this assignment. You can really like tailor it to what you think you want to do. Like if you want to give a lot of choice, you give a lot of choice. If you don't want to give a lot of choice, you don't give a lot of choice, right? What are you feeling? Like, do you want to make them have to use different colors? Are you giving them a limited palette or are you giving them an unlimited palette? I mean, that's the kind of choices I would say to you guys. How do you want to handle this? Like,
Well,
what is your like if you're trying to do a monochromatic lesson involved in this, I could see this becoming a monochromatic lesson very easily. Do you know what I mean? Like if
I
you
guess,
want to
well,
monochromatic.
my question is,
Sorry.
have you done the project where you try to replicate the blobby blobs within each individual box of the grid? And
I have
how,
not because this is the first year we taught it this way. When
okay,
I taught the QR code one, I was specific with my kids on how to do like a plan within the grid. She, as a new teacher, was more like, "Hey, we'll use colored pencils, or you could use this, or you could use that." Do you know what I
right,
mean?
mm-hmm,
She was a little more open-ended on stuff. So
right,
I think if you want to do, so if I was to add one more worksheet, to be honest, I
yeah,
think what I would add now, giving her criticism back on the thing, I would say make a worksheet and have them practice the different blobby blobs, like you're saying.
right,
Have them go in. No, no, I'm serious. If I was to add one, you know how when you learn something and you go, okay, I need to add a little bit more to that assignment. Like, they didn't get that component. I think
right,
my feedback would be like to make an assignment like this, and you really want the blobby blobs, I would definitely have like a page and say, okay, practice these different techniques. Maybe give
right.
a sample and a square, a sample and a square. I think I would do that. I would add that to this. I think that would be a good add-in. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I could see this. This is basically a really cool customizable lesson
Right.
where the common denominator here is the grid method of drawing your base portrait, right? Then
Right.
you could go and depending on what you want the kids to learn or practice or whatever, you could even turn this into, I know Zentangles was huge, so you could use patterning
Mm-hmm.
in the boxes
Yep.
to create the contrast and the shading and all of this stuff. Um, you could do like you did and your student teacher did with the patterning in the background and leaving the figure um natural, for lack of another better term.
Yes,
Um,
I think you could.
so okay, cool.
No, unfortunately, like I said, it's not set that way at this time.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean like when you're teaching, when I find whenever I'm teaching to a group of art teachers, I just led an assignment for our PD at Questar 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
I only got to give you the beginning of these things. You guys know this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, oh, you're giving me something to work off of. I love it. You know, I can now do this or this or this or this or this, right?
Right, right.
So, but the Chuck Close is a good artist for this because he definitely works within the grid. He definitely plays with the colors and the patterns inside of the grid.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got like an abstract minis inside a realistic portraiture, right?
Right. That's a very cool way to say it.
So when I'm teaching the kids to do a grid, like this, I would make them make a line on both sides because we all know this is
Yep.
their issue. I
I
can't
do the
hold a
same thing.
ruler. Right, they can't. So we have to teach them to hold the ruler and, you know, draw dark. If they can't see their pencil lines on here, I could even shift over to a Sharpie if the lighting's not right with our overhead, things like that. I have them take the time to do, I still think drawing a grid is not a bad skill to learn.
Oh,
So
no.
it is definitely a day or two of like, oh my goodness, did I really feel this was important? Yes, yes, I did. So I do think it's important to learn, but it is definitely crazy for a day or two. I also teach a gridding method, which is not gridding, it's a diagonal method that I do with the people as well when we do our cartoon enlargements. And that way there's no math involved and you use a diagonal. That's another day if you ever want me to teach that. Not today, but
I will keep it in mind. Thank you.
use you completely. So I'm going to make my grid on my face here. And then I'm going to make a 1-inch grid on the smaller paper, which I made only 14 by 12 because it does not fit under my camera, which is why we didn't like word aching on Zoom back in the day, right? Because we only could work so far. So I made my lines this way. Is it okay with the pencil? Or do you guys need me to go shift to Sharpie?
We can
Sorry.
see it. We're good.
Okay. So we all know how to do this. I don't know if you want to just take a few minutes, let everyone make this, and then we'll meet back up for the transferring part. I mean, some of this stuff I really know you know, so I don't want to waste anybody's time.
No, no. We're all here for this.
Okay. So
This
the
is
other
where
thing
we put it. This is where we put it into fast forward.
okay. So the other thing is also this. People want to draw everything and shade it in. This assignment allows you, you don't have to shade it in. You just need to get the basic outline. So we have that conversation as well, right? So
Yep.
here's my face. Oh my God, the kids are like, oh my God, I can't draw anything. My nose is big. My glasses are awful. All these things. I would encourage the kids to outline maybe where the line, I know it's hard for you to see on here, but outline right there with the pencil with so they can see it. Oh, they can't see it, but I can see it. So if you could see it, I would have them outline around these things so that they had a better sense if they were struggling with the shape. Just the main lines, right? These main lines that they needed. My crazy hair doing something right now. So if that's something that they need to do, that they're struggling, I would have them do that. So they can clearly see. I feel like you can't see that. So we're going to, hold on, everyone. We're moving into highlighter, maybe. Can you see here? Oh, well, not good.
I
Now
usually
it
use
looks like
a red pen and have them draw, or like a red marker so they can
yeah,
see.
I have,
There you go.
yeah, we got a red pen, but we're gonna need a Sharpie. Hang on. We got these, the studio space here. We got boys. That is not a problem. So yeah, I would use something they can see. So I'm gonna go here. Let's go pink. This is perfect. All right, pink for. So they can see probably with the marker, but if you can't see, I would get something that they can see. So now you see what I'm doing. We're outlining, giving them a little bit more to work with, right? Figuring out the main features. Whoa, there you go. Nose, eyebrows, right? Giving them lines to work with. Oh, I look like I'm a clown. How fun is that? Right? Getting the basic shapes of the face. Give myself a little chin tuck, what if I want? It's always fun, guys.
Oh, I could take off 20 pounds like that.
You
Cool.
could fix your face. I don't even know where that shadow is. We're gonna say that was a bad photo, but that's okay. I just, it's all good. Yeah, so I would do this for the kid. If the kids are struggling, you can always do this, or you can embed it in the lesson because you think it's what you want to do, right? You're not going to be wrong. It's your picture. Okay. So I got my nose looking crazy and then my glasses. That's okay. So I think everyone's got the gist, right? When I teach teeth, though, I definitely teach them how to draw teeth and not the gappy teeth. And you know what I mean by that. I can show you on a paper if you would like. Ooh, now I really look like I've had it bad. Woo! All right. So here we go. If the kids need this, I would do that. All right, so they have a line. So yeah, quick tip though, when I teach teeth, right? And you draw the lips, you're like, oh, hello, look at my lips. Dun, dun, dun. And you draw the bottom. Right, and you're like, here's my lips, so beautiful. And I say to them, okay, we're not doing this. I always do this. I say, don't do this. Eh, 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 eh. Ew. That looks like you got a lot of spinach between your teeth. I always also tell so I'd have the kids draw the lips, whatever kind of lips. You can have big old pouty lips, whatever you want. Almost got a crooked lip, but that's all right. I always teach them that we're really drawing where the teeth gum line is, right?
Can you lower it a bit, Cindy? It's in a bright white hot glare area. Yeah, there we
All right,
go.
there. So I draw these little things, right? I don't really draw lines. It's really this component, right?
It's the gum line. Yeah.
Yep. Ooh, this camera is great. Here we go. Back here, back there. Okay. There. So I always talk to them about like, it's your gum line will give the essence of your teeth. You don't need to draw each tooth. You are not SpongeBob with two big teeth, right? So I always take the time to teach the teeth like this because I much rather run into this person in the store than that guy. So I always, no, not this one. We want this one, right? And then I talk about shading too. I say, don't shade your lips like this. Who puts their lipstick on like that? Our lips are up and down, right? So these are kind of things I add. And then, with the eyes, the same thing. You have this, and look, we all have a little tear duct. Be crying, don't cry, and then the eyeballs. And then we talk about also the, how big is our eye, really? I mean, it is not, as I said, we are not SpongeBob SquarePants, because so many kids like to do that. I hope I don't look like this. So this is something else I would normally incorporate into my talking part with those worksheets that I didn't do. Okay, I'm gonna keep blocking when I turn it so I don't make you all sick with the camera. So after I grid my 1/2 inch, this is 1/2 inch grid, right? 1/2. Oops, can't see it all of a sudden. All right. I don't know why we all got a glare all of a sudden, but we will. Is that better or worse? Anyways, it's all right. So now I'm going to take my big paper and we're going to go to 1 inch, right? So here's my 1 inch. I marked all my 1 inches. I'm going to take my ruler. You have to just believe me. We're not going to fit very well under here. We're going to do the best we can. And I'm going to mark 1 inch again. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. I try to stick to 1/2 inch and 1 inch. There is a reason for this. I don't know if anybody else has ever attempted this. 3/4 of an inch. Holy moly, guacamole. That is like space. They don't even, what is that? 3/4 of an inch. Well, it's an important thing to know, but just to try to explain, there's this other tick mark in between these other two. Oh goodness, no. It's hard. I find the inch and the 1/2 inch is feasible. All right. I have had to do 1/4 inches, 3/4 sometimes if a project's off. I tend up having to make all the tick marks for them. If anybody else knows what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yes. I've had to actually take a day or two to teach the ruler, how
Yeah.
to read a ruler.
Now I'm gonna draw quick these lines because I want to get us into our image. Now I can do this fast because I've had to do over hundreds of these over the years. So we all know how this goes. So if you want to work along while I'm talking, just do this. Chuck Close is a good artist because, it does connect to, you can also pull up images of remember the ones that used to sell in the mall where you can get a whole big poster full of little pictures of deserts and then makes a poster of a big picture of a desert. Those images are easy enough to find. You can show them that as well. I think it just really matters. What is it you really want to do? What are you trying to cover? I've been trying a lot more choice this year Not being like, you know, like, for example, right now we're doing a Peter Max drawing and they have to do 2 figures, 10 textures and or patterns, and they have to use color. I didn't tell them what kind of background. I didn't tell them if the figures had to be exactly or anything. And that's been a very positive assignment I've used over the years as well. Peter Max, because he's bright, colorful, psychedelic, so he's got some crazy things happening. So they can really, if they make some crazy things like mermaids or space cadets going places or any of that, that's okay. So that's a figure drawing project I use to get that across. So I'm gonna have to be in section to section as I work. I hope that's okay with you. I can try to move my camera up again. All right, so I'm going fast and I should have, but any questions on gridding? I know that you're all very good at this. Any questions in the chat?
Not yet.
Okay, so I'm going to label this again so that I have it. If a kid sends you an image and they didn't follow directions, because kids always follow directions, right? And they give you a picture like this, but they only have their face in the small section, that might be where I do like 1/4 inch grid so that it works, right? Does that make sense? Like if they just didn't get the point that, but now they do selfies. So half the time their whole face is there and they got the little lip face that they're doing and their cutesy things. So it's usually not a big deal. But you know, 20 years ago, not so good at the picture taking of the faces. Now I'm just writing these dark. I would not write this dark normally, but I know for the camera we have to do that. So then I would be like, all right, everybody, 1-1, yay, right? Anything happening? Nope. Then get down to where he finds something happening. Okay, row 2, the first thing I see on row 2 is a little tuft of hair on 5, right? And then you go in, and now this is why I like the grid right now, because if it's dark and I can't erase it, it's not a huge problem, right? Nobody's hurt. I talk about boxes, like for example, I'm going to zoom in for just a second. I talk about with the boxes, I talk about like, hey, I don't know where that is in the line, miss. Yes, you do. It's halfway, right? If you're looking at this box, I'm going to break it down really easier for them and you. I look at this and I go, okay, let's look just at the box, right? Here's the box. And I've also used viewfinders. If you take, you know, those pictures that come with the frame thing that you don't really want the mat, if you cut it diagonal and do this, you can make yourself a really great viewfinder, right? And I go, okay, see how it's halfway here, like only halfway, oh, okay. And then I can go up here and I say, see halfway, you can't see that. And then I go, oh, look, it's halfway up here. And then there you go, halfway here, and I make a mark. And then the next piece of hair goes up there. See how that goes? So I really try to have them zoom in to what we're doing. I have a viewfinder right now, but if we have one, I'll show you what the viewfinder could be as simple as. I'm going to give you a quick sample of what I'm talking about. Who doesn't have X-Acto blades available at all times in their house, right? Okay. So if you ever get a picture frame, you get these little picture frames at the store and they come in that cheap thing and you're like, I don't really need this picture frame part anymore. I'm just going to use my picture. And I have this thing like this. They're really good for making viewfinders. So all you have to do is take your ruler, do the diagonal on the thing right here, cut, and cut the corner. Let me move up so you can see what I'm talking about. Cut this corner right here, right? And I have made myself a viewfinder. So if I have a kid that has any visual issues or anything like that that they need help with my trusty viewfinder, which I just made out of this, right? I have now made a movable viewfinder. So then they can be like, I can't think, right? Okay, it's all right, I got you, don't get upset. And then you go like this, you can viewfind it right there for them. And they only have to focus on that little teeny spot. I find this is helpful. I keep them in my desk. I don't know if anyone else has done it this way.
Yep,
Probably I'm not
me
the only
too.
one. What?
Yep. I have done that also. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's great though. It's a really quick thing to do. So then I look at this and I go, okay, I only need to do this. And then I look at that one. So you can do this to help them move along with their picture. Now I wish I had an easy bake oven and I could whip out a finished picture for you, but I don't. So I'm just gonna cruise along with you guys. And if you guys want to work alongside a little bit, we can do that. And I will work and talk with you as we go. So all I'm going to do now is just go through my picture, get that rough outline. Probably take me about, I don't know, less than 10 minutes. Is it okay if they if they have their own images or have any questions?
Yeah. How many of you guys are, well, I can't even see everybody at once. Hang on. How many of you guys are working along with us at the moment?
I'm just going to cruise along here
One.
while you're chatting with our friends. This is too far over. Ooh, that's a bad eraser. Failure to launch.
Okay, Stacy said she is. Yay.
All right, so I'm just gonna do this really basically. 5, oh, I went too far over. And I'm not perfect. I just made a mistake in my own drawing. Look at that. So you just gotta, that's why we can erase. It's a beautiful thing that they made erasers on our pencils. If you don't have a reference, if you want to just look at something, okay, if you want to make the grid and then just draw a picture on your grid, I'm not going to say you're wrong. You know what I mean? Just to have something to work on, if that makes sense. So I'm on, sorry, it's hard for me to put everything on here, so I'll just keep trying to share out as I move along with my picture. Again, the kids will be working on a much larger paper. I'm gonna just keep saying that, like a much larger paper. And it would take it, probably the first day we're gridding it and maybe getting the other paper gridded. And you can always have them grid the white paper if they forgot their image, because the white paper can be gridded without their image in it. Also with this style, if something's not perfect or they don't like themselves, by having these pieces in place, they can really take away that stress, right? Now they could do fun, kooky colors and no one's gonna know any different, right?
So, how many days or class periods did this take?
Well, with the little worksheets, it's gonna take, it could take up to 2 weeks.
Of how many classes?
We have 42-minute classes. Does that make sense?
Are you,
Every
Joanne, are
day
you
or-
asking about after all the worksheets for the project itself or
Yeah.
include the whole unit, including the work?
Or both, but I didn't know if you have class every day, if
Yeah, we have it every day.
Okay, so that'd be like 10 classes.
10 classes. They're 42-minute classes.
Okay.
And if you're doing those worksheets, some of them would be like, it would be like 1 day for each worksheet. And then, if depending on how dynamic they make their things, it could take some more time, right? So I just made a classic mistake here. I started thinking this was row 1. This is good I made this mistake because this happens with the kids. I made a mistake thinking this was row 1. And this is not row 1, right? This is row 1. So I got myself off. So if there's things like this with the kids, you almost sometimes have to like block it out, right? Clarify where 1 starts, right? Because I started over too far and I thought I made a mistake and I actually did it right. Also, kids really struggle with any excess paper. I will just cut it to be the size so there's no extra things to look at, right? Remove any possibility of frustration for them.
Donna is asking if you've tried this with different age groups.
I have only taught high school most of my career. I think that our middle school has taught something with gridding before as well. I think I would, older middle school, maybe an advanced 8th grade, possibly. But I think after that, littles are not going to be ready. Plus, it's kind of fun to let them experiment what they think they look like. Go for it, kiddos. You could do the Chuck Close style if you did animals maybe, or larger shapes maybe. I could see that would be kind of fun, right? Chuck Close with the animals. What do you think, Steph?
It could be cool. It could be. I
Yeah.
mean, you could grid anything. I'm thinking if you did Chuck Close style with littles, you
Yeah,
could have them let them just trace the photo
right. Keep the
onto the
same
grid.
size.
Instead of redrawing, you could just have them trace it
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
then color in the tracing,
Yep.
right?
So you take this sheet here and you get your stencil, right? You put the 6B on the back, flip it over and have them trace it.
Donna
That's how
Lee
you would do it?
says this seems like a project that would be fun as a collaborative large format portrait, or
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
teams and deconstruct and then put the squares together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that my first year teaching. I did a giant Frederick Douglass mural, and I
Mm.
gave each kid a square to copy, going from really small up until like an 8 by 8 square. So every student contributed a square to the mural. It was like a big mosaic.
Yep.
Um, and it worked out really great because, the spaces between kind of compensate if things are not exactly matching up. But
Mm-hmm.
it looked like a big mosaic face, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with anything that has a grid that you decide to grid, you could do Chuck Close style in it, right? Like that's the beauty of the Chuck Close style in general. Like it's just teaching the patterns and the color palette. And then what colors do you use? And we were saying, I'm like, I don't know. What colors do you want to hinder the color choices? Do you want to not hinder the color choices? Do you want to give them the freedom? Do you not? She also taught this in the other classroom, and she's like, I let them use whatever medium. And then she found out, like, oh no, now we're doing watercolor and this. It was almost too many mediums. I think picking two. The oil pastels are nice because they're a little blendy and more smooth and move around. So as you
Right.
can tell, I've got half of my face, no features yet. And I do tend to tell them to get the full head on there first. Because if
Hmm.
you just start to do the eyes and then the heads off, I think that messes with them. I've had from experience feel that you can do better if you just get the outline of the head first. I mean, you
Yeah, I
can
have
do
them
in mine,
work
but
the big shapes first and then
yeah.
do the inside of the face after.
Yeah, because I think that they get so pinpoint on their eye or something, and it just doesn't work out. I don't know. That's just
Well, they
my
need the head and the hair to kind of create the frame
right.
where they can work inside of, because it gives them a point of reference once you have the outside in there.
So for example, I have my face shape, right? My face shape is there. Yeah. Why is
Pretty
it?
good.
So, all right, so I'm gonna keep going, get my hair on here. And the thing with the hair too, like, oh gosh, my hair's a frizz. So does it matter really if the hairline is exactly where it is? Not too important, really. And again, this is where I would say, like, anything like this that might confuse anybody, I would just really clarify that this is not where we're looking, right? That it just takes that off the table when you're looking at things and you're getting frustrated. But it's I think it's a good assignment, and I think it leaves a lot of choices.
Yes.
Lots of choices. Getting down to 8. I'm trying to cruise here so we can get to the face. All right, so I got to get to my main features now. I've got eyes, glasses, nose, mouth, and teeth, right? That's what's left. Wish I did not smile with my teeth right now, but I did. All right, so I'm going to find the eye, and this is where you go, oh, God, I don't know what to do, right? They get stressed out. Okay, it's please 7, 7, 7, 7. And then this is where I would teach the angle stuff, right? Because they're going to inadvertently put I. And you're like, no, 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 no. You have to line your paper up with the other paper. You have to hold your ruler on your eye at the right angle, right? Whatever angle it's at, and you have to slide it over. That way, and I showed them this trick, that way they're both at the same angle, right? Not just arbitrarily guessing. I
Mhm.
usually show them that. So if it's here, we slide. If it's there, we slide. Just slide it in the right direction. So that's why all those fancy artists stand around there and go, ooh, oh, ooh, ah. They're not moving their pencils around just because moving pencils is fun. They're moving it around because the pencil then provides them with a, the correct angle, right? I'm sure you all teach that as well. So I'm just using the words so you know where I'm coming from and what I would say to the kids. Because
We
this is
have a
the
quick
kind of,
question,
yeah,
Cindy.
sorry.
Laura is asking, do you recommend black and white images to start with?
I think color confuses them, and I don't have access to a color printer all the time. So yeah, I just got a color printer I can use this year, but if I don't think I would print and waste all my ink on 100 and whatever pictures at this point, I'd save it for ditto sheets. Ditto sheets, that's a word, right?
So I
Uh,
guess it depends on your situation and your choice.
Yeah, I would say that, but I do think when you add color, something about when something's just a black and white image, it's easier to pick out. Like even when you do, well, I'll show you what I mean. I was working on this picture I did this whole sewing project, an IKEA Jones style picture, and I sewed it, right? This black and white image, it's much easier to see where I polarize it as well, just so you know. It's much easier to see where the hair starts and the face starts, right? It's a little clearer, right? Than if it's all variations of color. This one I used because I was using different threads, right? But because it's one monotone black white, it's easier than if her skin was peach with the brown hair, and it's harder to tell, I think, the lines. So
You
I
can
think the
also
black and
make it a monochromatic portrait, which I've done also. So you do the grid method,
yep.
and then the finishing is painting it in a color of choice as long as
Mm-hmm.
it's monochromatic.
Right. I think this assignment, if you didn't want to do bright Chuck close colors, and if you wanted to practice a monochromatic picture, this could lend itself to monochromatic, but using, like I said, using the shapes that you discussed, right? As well. So I'm just going to keep working as you guys keep working, and here we roll. Now, this is where I say you measure your eye, and you measure your eye, and you know it kind of lands 6, 5. Ooh, he's way over here. That's why it was wrong. We talk about, all these things when the kids are working, right? 1, 2, and there's my eye. But these are the things I teach in the class, right? That while we're working. Hmm. And if the image is a little wonky, like mine's, now they put that marker on there. I can't see my eye as good as it used to be, which is fine. We can make up that decision. That hopefully your school's computers, the pictures aren't awful, which could be a problem. We all know that who took that picture, or did they get the random picture from the front office? I just gave myself a lazy eye. Oh no. Probably would not say that out loud to children. Okay, sorry about that. She can edit that. She's gonna make it say something else. All right. I do. I'm looking at you all weird. Sorry about that. Just disregard that facial expression. I don't mean it.
It's okay. You're rushing. We get it. It's cool.
It gave myself a lazy eye. It's all right. But this is, I think, like giving yourself a basic. I hate drawing my nose. I'm going to say this right now. I realize I'm Italian, but do I need to be that Italian in the nose? Just, always look so big. All right. But this is hard for the kids too. As I sit here and go criticize myself, right? We do the same, right? I don't like this. This isn't cool, blah, 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 blah. And you got to like encourage them. You have to do a lot of encouraging. I don't want to draw myself. I'm ugly. And they say all this stuff to themselves while they're drawing. But it's hard. It's hard to draw yourself, and it's stressful. So you do have to do a lot of encouraging on these kind of assignments and tell them, oh, don't worry. When you start adding the color and the shapes, it's really going to come together, right? We're not lying to them because it will come together because I have big faith for everybody. And if you guys have any hints, the things you think work better, this is a great time to share out with us and be like, hey, you know, I really think when I do it, this worked better because, you know, just because someone's been doing something for 20x amount of years doesn't mean we missed the boat on something else, something new, something different, right? So I'll put that out
I'm
there.
actually going to be trying something I've never done before, which is going smaller rather than bigger.
Ooh.
And keep it like 5x7 size and have them do this in pointillism or
Oh
stippling.
yeah,
Yeah.
stippling.
Because
That
that they might find easier to create the shading um
I think,
than
yeah.
the blending of colors.
I think you're also going to find, and not in a bad way, in a good way, some of the kids are going to have trouble because just that smallness is difficult for them. Whereas other kids are going to love you.
Well, I find most of my kids, no matter what size paper I give them,
They're never
they
happy.
work like microscopic size anyway.
Right.
So, and I'm doing a repurposed book project with the kids in school right now, and I want them to do these stippled portraits for their covers.
I'm
So
going to just try to just go, what time we got?
we'll
Okay.
see how it goes.
All right, so let me just, you know, just bear with me. Pretend this is perfect now, okay, guys? And we're just going to move on to the coloring part. All right, so there's things, there's faces, there's teeth, whatever. Not there yet, but they'll be there, right? Bear with me. You know the drill, right? Here's my teethies. Like I said, we don't draw the teeth too big because that's weird, right? All right, so anyway, so here we go. We got the face started, right? Everyone feeling solid? This is where they're like, what do I do next, miss? What do I do next, miss? I go, well, guess what we're going to do next? Now we talk about, do we want to do it inside the face first? You want to start on the outside? You can erase the numbers, things like that, right? So I'm going to get my colored pencils out for interest of time so we can get working. If that's okay, Steph, are we okay
Yep.
with that?
Yep, we're good.
All right. So I didn't finish my other shoulder ear either, but you can't see that, so it's okay. So I think I might start with my hair today because I'm feeling hair wet. I'm gonna have I got my colored pencil kit right here. So in case you're like, what is she using? Just using some colored pencils, right? You got Crayolas in your classroom, that's perfect. If you put them out on the table ahead of time, this is where if you wanted to hold them to a color palette, you could be more controlled if you want to. I mean, it's depending on what you need for your classroom, right? Yeah, I have a Peter Max figure drawing project assignment if you ever want that one for some week.
I'm interested in hearing about that too.
Okay, I'll send you pictures when I'm at work tomorrow. All right, so I'm gonna look at my selection and go, I'm feeling. So I'm not gonna go for realistic. I'm gonna go for the Chuck Close that we were doing earlier. And I'm gonna go for crazy colors, right? So I'm feeling sunshine today. Sunshine on a cloudy day. So I'm gonna go for some colors like yellows and browns, right? And I'm going to pick a section to work. And what I'm going to do is, now again, if the kids are struggling with this, you guys have the ability to give them a little thingy, right? And control the zone, right? If they're struggling, all right? Any questions? Any things you want to share out? Anything you're like, oh my gosh, I like that idea, but if I were you, I would have done this or that.
So far, so good.
Okay, so I got some colored pencils I think I like right now out in front of me. And now is the fun part where you just do things, right? So the blobby blobs. So if I was teaching this, and you made a really good point. If we were teaching this lesson, so I'm going to make a little square to show you if we were to break, I would break this down in one more step than what my student teacher did. I would provide them some squares, right? And then I would say, practice blobs. And what I would probably do is say, make a shape organic. We all know what organic means, guys. Organic is not geometric. Geometric is math class. If you can't measure it well, it is organic, right? I don't know if anybody else has done that, but that's what I say. Then I would tell them to take the organic shape and maybe do the rings around the organic shape, right?
It's a
And I would
peanut.
show them different coloring techniques like, and I'm going to zoom in so this is a little easier to see. We can do what? The circles, squigglies. You can shade back and forth, right? So I would show them this on a more like one of those days that we're talking about. How many days are you doing this for? Well, now that you asked, right? I'm going to add a purple in there because I just feel I need some color. You know, so this would be one way to teach some blob techniques, right? Now, if you want to teach them to go back and forth or any way that they feel comfortable coloring, right? That one kid I showed you was very much into making stripes because stripes worked for her. And she used a ruler and she liked the ruler. Now, I don't think that's wrong for Chuck Close, but it's not blobby, right?
Oh my God, you just said stripes and I thought polka dots. You could totally do this in a Yayoi Kusama.
Yeah.
Only polka dots, kind of. Like you could take this in any direction.
Another trick I've done is give that you could. Another trick I did was I would show them if they struggle keeping an edge. I show them you can take a ruler, right? Place the ruler on the edge, right? And as you color, you won't get off the edge, right? It depends on how much, how do you say it? Steps, mini components they need to be successful, right? Does that make sense? I would make a
Scaffolding.
worksheet like this, and I would maybe cut out a piece of a Chuck Close picture. I'm sorry. So kind of like she did here. You see how she had the eye broken up and like that? I think what I would do, see, this is what happens. And this is why you teach long enough. You're like, oh, and then I could add this and oh, I can add that. And then as you teach, you keep adding things because you just get like that, right? So what I think what I would do is I would have cut out a section and it would have to be high contrast because like I said, having everything printed in color is not easy. And then have them do one of these zoomed in, right? So I would probably pull in and get really close to one of these and have them do that, right? Some of the kids might have done Chuck Close already in elementary school, to be honest. I've seen it on different projects. So let's look at what other kids had done in my group. So this one here, she did some of the blobulars, right? She has there we got wavy lines on this one. She was very much into her stripes. She had some zigzaggies, some box-like stuff. But if you saw when I held it up, it worked. Nobody was offended. You saw a picture, right? This lovely lady was very much into the straight lines. She liked her straight lines. But she did do some fun color combinations, which I appreciate, right? She's got the purple to medium purple to purple, you know, all these things. So, and I like the fact that she did her hair in different directions. But yes, a lot of them were very not interested in Chuck closing their faces. And I think that's a call you're going to have to make. Are we going to Chuck close your face or are we not going to Chuck close your face? I don't know the answer for that. So I'm going to go back to the hair. So I practiced to show you what you could do for practicing. And I think now I'm just going to do the blobs, right? This part could be very meditative for them, right? We're just going to make some shapes and let things happen. They could also overlap. So you could color this and then you could color on top. So that would be a good practice, maybe assignment on the little practice thing. They could color on top, which is going to change the base color underneath. We all know that. But it could have an interesting effect, right? And I could use a light color on top of those colors. See, this is the problem with me. When I start something, I'm like, ooh, how about this? Ooh, how about that? Can't ever like, you know, just stay on task. Have to try something else. Thus, we see people like, what is your artwork? I don't know. It's called mixed media. Or I don't know. What am I interested in today? And then maybe I'm going to finish off my blob. I did tell them to be careful and to try to do a differential between the hair and the background. So if I wanted to stand out, which I told them, you kind of want them to stand out, I said, I would say I'm not doing the browns, yellows, and purples here. Maybe my background has got to be something else. Maybe some blues. That's a purple. Right? Maybe I have to be selective on my background, right? So now it definitely shows there is a difference, right? Did bring that up when they did the assignment. Any
Yes.
questions on that part? Because this divider line between the hair and the background really does make the image pop or blend in. Again, choices we need to make.
You could also do, and I've done this also, where you have the kid, they can choose, you use both black and white and color, where the background is either all black and white, maybe patterning, and the person itself is color, or vice versa, where the figure is black and white and then the background is color, so that you have the contrast of the two also.
Right. So again, I think that this assignment can lend it to self to yourself. What part of my curriculum have I not covered yet that I can then put into this assignment to then qualify? Color theory unit, portraiture unit, right? Sometimes taking two assignments and merging them together can get the same results, right? You can now get both things that you need in one assignment, which is not wrong or bad. It's actually great. It's awesome planning, right? Especially if assignment takes about 2 weeks to do, from start to finish. So like I'm doing figure drawing right now. I taught them 8 heads tall. I have them draw a skeleton, right? I mean like that. I have them this year, we didn't get to it, but I've had them in the past, put a kid in the middle of the room and say, draw the kid standing on the table, whatever it is, right? Whatever we're attempting to do, right? And then we talk about 2 figures and I go over textures and patterns. So a texture pattern worksheet, we talk about elements, and then we talk about how the elements become principles when they're like if you repeat them over and over again, all of a sudden now it is a voila, a principle of design, not just an element, right? So all of these things can happen. So that assignment basically covers texture, pattern, and it covers figure drawing. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It could be a great end of year, like culmination project, like their final, where they can incorporate a few different methods and techniques from the whole year into the one project.
Yeah, that Peter Max one is always late. I started it at the very end of this quarter. It's going to slide into fourth quarter because I still haven't done my 3D assignment, and that always takes like 2.5 weeks. And then we have April break is gonna, it just worked out this year that it landed like that. But normally it would always be a May assignment, but I kind of flip-flop my 3D with that assignment. So as you can see now, this is the blobbies that we were talking about. And I stopped thinking, which is what I think I like about this part of the project. Not to say I'm not thinking, but you know what I mean. Like I stopped worrying that face, 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 face. I'm not thinking eye. I'm thinking square, 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 right? I'm not actually stressing about the fact that this is me now. I'm not stressing at all. I'm just like, oh, I like those colors better,
But how would you handle it when you do the eye with the blobbies?
All right, so let's head into the eye then. We could do that. Well, we got no, that's fine. No, that's fine. It's all good. That's why we're here tonight, right? So
Because that's the part that's scary. How would we do blobs in the actual features of the face so that we don't lose the features?
I would do that. I would say the same thing. I would say treat the eye different than you treat around the eye, just like you treated the background different than the hair. You have to differentiate between things, right? And if there's a nose element like this, you would have to make sure that you kind of definitely differentiated, like maybe not different colors, but maybe the blobs have to be more blobular. Well, I guess we'll do the
Contrasty.
yeah. So I'll do my nose because it's my least favorite, but for you, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go. I knows all about it.
Aw.
You should see I have this whole thing in with this. I have the worksheets. It says 8 eyes. I have an idea sheet, and then I knows all about it. And then I have the don't give me lip for the lips. Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's bad. And I'm all ears for the ears worksheet. Oh yeah. Yeah. Just join the dad jokes before that was a dad joke, right? Should have been. So I would, all right, so this is my nose. I would definitely tell them to change it up, right? So make sure that it's like not the same, right? So I outlined where that nose was gonna land. And then I'm gonna outline where this lands. I guess I've turned orange. Oh crap. Hope that's what I wanted. It's all right. I'm gonna turn yellow. I'm a very bad spray tan right now. Yes. Seriously. But if you look at his drawings, I mean, if you pop up another one of his examples again, do you want to pop up that slideshow for us now, just for
I can do that.
a quick look-see now that we are talking about this in theory? I turned yellow. Okay.
So this is a close-up of, I believe, this.
Right.
Yes.
So if you
So
look
this
at
is
that
her
picture right
nose.
there.
Right, this is her, the baby's nose, really up close.
I think I wanted to be orange. Let me change my colors. So if you look at that right there, that's a hot mess of colors, right? We got pink, a peach next to a black, not even black, charcoal, brownish, a white. So we really only define the outer edge of all of those lines. I will reach out to her and get you those others. I can go scan those other documents for you and get that to Steph, and then maybe Steph could email you the whole packet in one email instead of little bits and pieces.
That would be great.
Would that
So
be
if
better
anybody
then?
wants it, I'll put my email in the
Is
chat.
that okay?
Yep.
Because I'll scan those worksheets so they're easy to get to, right? Not the way they are currently.
This
Yeah,
is,
so if you
but
look
this
at
is
that, those
what's
colors don't make sense.
mind-boggling. Like, you look at this and it's all just blobs on
Mhm.
diagonal boxes, and then you squint your eyes and it's, oh my God, it's a nose. That it just blows my mind.
It is amazing. I'm going to
Yeah.
green now. I've decided my nose is going to be green because
Yeah.
I'm.
All right,
So
I'm gonna stop sharing again and go
no,
back.
you're fine. I don't, like I said, I can't take credit for this assignment. I did not come up with this. This was one I totally got from my really awesome student teacher. Um, but I do teach a QR code one, and we use the grid to make a QR code, right? So I'm a huge believer of, sometimes it's easier not to erase this grid. Use the grid. It's annoying to try to erase it. They don't erase it well. And then when they're trying to make a completely only realistic image, especially I'm talking about studio art. I'm not talking about your higher level classes, right? I'm not talking about your Hudson Valleys, your drawing and painting class. I'm not talking about those. But like if they're in ninth period, they're not, well, sorry, ninth graders in that studio art class, and they didn't even pick that course.
It's
It
an
might
intro.
be
Yeah.
beneficial that they just have a good experience, right? I don't know if that makes sense to anyone.
Yes, it
Like,
does.
and trying a realistic human could be hard on them and frustrating, right? So I think this is an aside. If you feel that your group is not, is not in that functionality for that, this might be a good assignment to get the face across, learn the basics where things should or should not be, right? But not feel so, oh, it didn't come out right. It doesn't look like me exactly, right? It gives them a little bit of leeway to feel successful, I guess, is how I would say it.
That's what we want.
Right. Now, can't you do this for the upper levels? Absolutely. I'm not saying that. You could totally play with the upper levels. Also, right now, I mean, mixing the pencils, layering pencils, that's a whole nother lesson you could play with. Like when I did this square up here, I did one color, I went on top of the other color, went on top of the other color. I played with the layers itself, right?
I'm going to interrupt you for a second, Cindy.
Yes,
So
please.
Mary Beth just posted the link in the chat to the attendance sheet. Please click in there and fill it out for your attendance and for your CTLE credits. because if you do not do this now, you will not get your credits.
Will you leave it open a second or two after they get off so I can do that? So I can
Yeah,
stay
sure.
working? Okay.
Yep.
Anyone have questions too? Because I want, and please get your credits because you worked hard to get here tonight. I'm sure that somebody's crying or dogs are barking or cats are meowing in the background while you're trying to focus. Oh yes, I see a hand. Hello.
Actually, sorry, I have a question for Stephanie.
Yes.
Because
Hi.
I've sat in on a couple of these and I'm not on Facebook as much anymore. Do you have an email list that you can send out emails to let people know what workshops are coming up, like maybe once a month or?
Yes, I send out, before I even post it on Facebook, I have
Okay.
a mailing list. So, if you're going to email me to request those worksheets, just let me know, please add you to my mailing list and I will take care of it.
So, I'm just spacing. Are the Zooms coming from you? No, they're coming from Zoom. So can you share your email
Oh,
or,
of course. Yeah, I'm
sorry, I
sorry.
don't know if I missed that somewhere.
Here, I'm going to type my email.
It's been a long day.
Yes, yes, it
It's been a
has.
long decade. A long decade. My goodness.
Okay.
But I
All
was
right.
also going to suggest if students are really struggling with doing their own portrait, sometimes just having a couple printouts of popular celebrities
Yep.
Mhm.
can help.
Or
Um,
let them choose a relative maybe that they
yeah, yeah.
want to honor as well.
I've
So
also said baby pictures.
I just put my email in the chat. So if anybody would like to be added to my mailing list, or want a copy of the worksheets when I get them from Cindy, just let me know and I will take care of it for you.
Also, their baby pictures. Sometimes they don't like themselves now, but if they want to bring in or send you a picture of when they were little, they like to maybe draw themselves when they were little. I have one of those in the cases right now. I didn't bring it, um, but I should have because that's a good example too. Like it's them, but it's not them today, right? It was them when they were little. So I mean, I don't know. You got to play with how you want this to work. Yeah. Any questions on any of the components? Maybe I'll get a chance. I'll make that worksheet that I would add to this assignment to hand you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could have both.
That would be great.
Absolutely. I can already see a technique I would build with them is maybe tracing the outline of the shape and then going back inside of it like this. I don't know if that's what Chuck Close did, but it seems like it would be useful. Like you kind of outline a shape and then you go into the center. Do you go to the center and go out? I'm just playing with different concepts right now. Um, Anyone finding a certain method works better for you with your work?
Cindy, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
It's Mary Beth.
Hi, Mary Beth.
I just want to respond to somebody on the chat, Erica Cross. I
Hi.
see that you can't add yourself to the sheet because you're on your phone. I'm gonna add your name. And then Steph's email is right above. If you could email her the other information. But I'm gonna add your name right now so that we know that you were here in real time.
Okay, thank you. I don't have a Gmail account and I don't need another email, so that's why I don't have Google. But thank you.
Oh, no problem. We've got you.
I miss having Mary Beth as my wingman. She used to do stuff with me for Creative Sparks.
Right? Like every
Ew.
Tuesday night.
Woo, that was
Lindsay
fun.
says she's not sure how to choose the colors to go together and not lose the portrait. That's what I'm afraid of also.
I don't know the exact answer for that. Right now, I've been building a greenish tone orange thing going on around my nose. Um, I don't know, because the kids did
I
not
think
seem
it's
to get it.
experimentation.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think we would have to experiment a lot first, so then we would know how to direct the kids
I
with their
think
color combo.
also, sorry to interrupt,
No, no,
Steph.
please help.
If you if if you played around with value and pressure of the colored pencil.
Mhm.
So if around those contours they had like a darker value to their colored pencil. And then as you move away from the contour, it becomes a little bit lighter. You could use whatever colors and you'll still have that portrait look.
Yep. 'Cause it looks like Chuck Close, honestly, like really outlined, like where he was, like, but this is green, right? And then you shade down. Yeah, lots of things could happen with this, for sure. That's the beauty of it, right? It could be so many different things. But I like the fact that they have to slow down, right? Because that's really where things start to get crazy, right? Kids are always rushing to finish. And this is not an assignment that they can really rush because there's a lot of boxes. I know, right? I don't know if anyone else has that kid. I'm done. How are you done? I just gave this to you. Like, you know what? I don't, does anyone else have this? Is it just me? I don't know. I'm done. You're not done. No, you're not. So
There
I
always
think I like outlining the box and then kind of going in like this. That's been working very well, you know? And layering it like that. I think that's the faster approach that I would try to do if I was a kid, if I figured it out. So outlining the box and then building in has worked pretty good for me. I don't know if anyone else has found that. You know, outline the box, right? It does help. I'm using Reeves though, which are way softer than the the Crayola pencils that we buy in bulk. You know that.
Mhm.
You know, but that's where the oil pastels as a soft medium are fun because the colors will start to blend together, right? And it's okay. And they can smudge it with their fingers. So, and that we did have a successful few of those images as well. All right. Well, this is my do you want me to turn myself back up so you can see me or you? All right. All right. That's my last box. You can get into this, you don't want to stop, right? You're like, oh, I'm enjoying myself. Okay. Yay.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
So I'm sorry it's not completely Chuck Closey. It had a lot of little components to it. But I think if you notice it did have hold on, I'm gonna cover you while I turn you instead of making you guys feel like you went on a merry-go-round.
There she
Woo!
is. There she is.
I'm back. All right, any other questions for me today?
This
Carmen,
mom has a comment. Yes,
Okay, let's
mom.
comments. Mom, what you got?
I'm just wondering if everybody has stood in front of a Chuck Close painting, which was about 15 feet tall. Have you had the experience?
No, would be
I,
amazing.
I have, and it's absolutely incredible because his work is huge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing I wanted to say is something Steffi already knows, that I interviewed Chuck Close by phone while I was
No.
going through my master's. And I actually spoke to him. It was very interesting. I don't remember exactly what we talked about because I think I have it in writing someplace.
Oh, that must
But
have been amazing.
yes, it was awesome. We each had to choose an artist and get in touch with them and see if they would do an interview. And he accepted mine.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's really cool. I don't know that that would happen today with, social media and
Huh,
bombardment of people, but that was a very special, lucky thing.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
It might have been facilitated by my teacher, who was an art history professor, and
Oh, okay.
he was involved with the Metropolitan Museum in
Okay.
some way.
I
Maybe
think
she,
that's where his painting is at the Met. And
well, I,
they did have a retrospective of all of his different stuff at one point, his different
mm,
styles and different paintings, but I think that they have one in the permanent collection.
possibly, but what I saw was a show down in, it might have been Soho, maybe 30 years ago. It was all Chuck Close in
Oh,
one humongous space. and very, very tall ceilings and enormous paintings. It's really amazing.
Thank you, Mary. But you're not the Mary we thought you were. You're the Mary from Buffalo.
I really, really appreciate you giving us your time
Of
and
course.
your expertise, and
Well, I do love teaching. I can't seem to get away from it.
that's
I love to see what they can come up with and just, encouraging future artists, Bye, Karen.
we need more of that. We
Well,
definitely need
if you're
that.
not, you gotta live, if you're not enjoying getting up and going to your work or enjoying, then, you gotta find something you have passion about. That's what's life about, having the passion. And I do believe making art for others, bye, Stephanie, making art for others, it also really, really helps. Like making art you like for yourself and making time to make your own art keeps it alive. And I feel like so many artists are like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time. I'm so tired. But you don't understand, like, that's
Yeah.
what gives you recharges your battery.
You have to make an appointment with yourself.
Yeah,
Even these nights, twice a month, um, even though it's stuff for our classroom, we get stuff for ourselves from each other.
right,
And then we can incorporate it into our own practice. And it's our community. We need to speak with people and be with people who speak our language because we are different from most people in the rest of our schools.
right.
Um, so
Definitely.
this is our chance to touch base and exchange
Thank
ideas.
you, Dana.
And yeah, it's a special time. So while
Well,
we are all probably very, very exhausted,
yes,
um,
I'm sure some are, we are.
we do this for ourselves and it's important. And I thank you. And I thank you, Cindy, for sharing. And I thank you guys all for joining us for these sessions and growing our community. It's really, really
Mhm.
wonderful thing.
I just have to fill out that form, hon. I didn't do that yet.
Did you click the link?
I will now. I just didn't want to interrupt
No, that's fine.
your
So
stuff.
please, if you have not yet done so, click the link, fill out for your attendance and your CTLE credits. And
Giving the link right now.
next week we have our own Mr. Tim Needles, who's I think he's on the board of NYSADA with us, or on a
Cool.
committee. And he will be doing a lesson. He's been traveling all over the country, doing his STEAM stuff, which is
Fun.
amazing. He just published a book also, which is in the flyer that I sent out. And so he will be with us next week.
Yeah, wasn't it called Steam the book?
I believe so.
I think I read it.
Yep, yep. So I look forward to seeing you hopefully next week. And Cindy will be in touch.
Yes, give me a couple of days to organize all the sheets properly for you,
Mhm.
and I will make one beautiful big package so that my lovely fearless leader can send just one instead of multiple little emails to you. I think that's easier.
Yeah.
No.
I'll gather it all and then I'll just shoot them out to anybody that requests it from me.
All
Okay?
right. I think I did my paperwork, love. I think we're good.
All right. Have a
So,
wonderful Friday. Thank God it's tomorrow. And enjoy why is it always like the shortest weeks feel like the longest weeks? Um,
oh, I don't know.
Melissa, you didn't get that flyer. If you want, email me and I will send you the link for that as well for the Steam next week. Okay. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay sane, and I'll see you next week.
Cindy, it was good to see you.
Always miss you, Mom.
Oh, that's
She's
so
like the
nice.
Sagamore mom. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mary,
definitely.
you know what? Mary's having trouble emailing me. Just type in directly to me and send me your email and I will uh
Hello, Jen. See Jen. Well, it's her picture of Jen. She hasn't moved the whole time, but I'm sure she's there.
All right, thank you. See you next time.
see you next
Bye, love.
time.
Have a good night,
Bye.
love.
Bye.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll organize that. I want to add that one worksheet though. So
Okay.
to complete the lesson, I think, and I'll text her tomorrow
Amy
and check about the
Sherman,
other component.
MK281970 at yahoo.com. And Mary, what was it that you wanted me to send you? Was
I
it
was hoping to get the PowerPoint presentation and the worksheets.
okay, PowerPoint and worksheets. Got it.
And I
So
will,
go ahead.
yep, I will make sure you have all those things. Should I put them in a Google Drive or is that going to mess everybody up? Is it better in their PDFs for you, Steph?
Yeah, PDFs is better. I'm afraid
Okay.
sometimes when you do Google Drives, they
They don't have permission to
don't
get in.
copy it and it messes with the original, so
Gotcha. All
PDF
PDF
is
then.
better. Yeah.
And you already have the slideshow. I just have to get you a PDF of the other ones.
Yep.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay, I got you, Mary. We're good. So as soon as I get everything from Cindy, I will email you back.
All right, thank you, Stephanie.
You're so welcome. Okay, guys, have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Thank you. Mom, we'll talk later.
Yep.
Okay.